I was the lead logistics coordinator for a major food distributor. My entire job revolved around managing the complex supply chain, ensuring perishable goods reached supermarkets on time. The pressure was immense, but I had everything streamlined. The weakest link was my colleague Robert, the freight scheduler. Robert was lazy, perpetually late with his reports, and constantly used my detailed routing plans as his own without giving credit. Our conflict went from annoying to critical when Robert decided to directly sabotage my performance for personal gain. A particularly difficult, high-margin route through the Rockies required precise scheduling. I had meticulously planned the route to save $15,000 in fuel costs by utilizing specialized, time-sensitive refueling contracts. Robert, seeing the potential credit, told our VP that my plan was too complex, and secretly replaced my scheduled fuel stops with generic full-service vendors, claiming it provided more flexibility. He signed off on the change using my digital signature, which he lifted from a past document, making it look like I had approved the change myself. The result was an immediate $15,000 loss in efficiency on that single run, and I received a scathing reprimand for irresponsible routing. I was furious that he not only stole my work but also actively set me up for failure. The logistics VP swallowed Robert's story because Robert was his nephew. I realized this was an uphill battle against nepotism, and I had to hit Robert where he thought he was safest, the scheduling system itself. My escalation centered on the primary routing software, a legacy system that Robert was entirely dependent upon. He had memorized the few standard commands he needed but didn't understand the underlying algorithm that generated the route maps, which I had customized extensively. I focused on exploiting a known vulnerability in the software's geospatial indexing function. This function relied on correlating specific GPS coordinates with internal map IDs. I subtly introduced a data corruption entry into the map ID database for a specific, geographically isolated region in rural Montana, a region we frequently shipped through but where GPS data was notoriously weak. The corruption wasn't a crash, it was an offset. I configured the corrupted map ID to display coordinates exactly 1.5 miles west of their actual location, only when queried by Robert's specific user profile. The payoff was aimed at Robert's biggest upcoming project, a massive seasonal deployment of specialty cheeses requiring dozens of trucks and tight scheduling across multiple states, including Montana. Robert, relying on the map shown on his screen, generated the entire deployment schedule using the subtly corrupted data. He saw refueling depots and mandated inspection checkpoints appearing 1.5 miles off the main highways, requiring short, unnecessary detours for dozens of trucks. When the deployment began, the truck drivers were instantly confused. They drove to the designated coordinates and found nothing but open fields or closed logging roads, forcing them to call dispatch frantically, causing immense, costly delays. Drivers were burning extra fuel trying to navigate to non-existent depots. The entire complex deployment schedule fell apart within 48 hours. The delays were devastating. Perishable goods were late, incurring massive penalty fees from the supermarkets, and the spoiled cheese alone cost the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. The VP was irate, demanding to know why the routing was fundamentally flawed. Robert tried to blame the system and the GPS signal. But when the auditors checked the raw data inputs, the coordinates looked right on paper. It was only when they cross-referenced the coordinates with the internal map ID, Robert's primary tool, that the 1.5-mile offset was discovered. Since I was the logistics lead, I was called in to explain the data drift. I calmly showed the auditors that the error only manifested under Robert's user profile, strongly suggesting a highly isolated software glitch stemming from the way he was querying the system. The implication was clear. Robert had used faulty data and lacked the competence to verify his own route maps. The aftermath was swift. Robert was immediately demoted to the overnight loading dock manager, a physically demanding, low-status job far removed from the complex scheduling he ruined. The VP, embarrassed by the massive financial loss and the exposed nepotism, was forced to step down within the quarter. I was given full control over the department, along with the title and pay increase I deserved. Robert learned that in logistics, 1.5 miles is the difference between a successful delivery and career ruin.